The massive alien ship appeared above Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. It was 3 kilometers long, shaped like a crescent moon made of silver metal and glowing blue lights. Every government on Earth went into emergency mode. Military bases activated their defenses. Citizens looked up at the sky with wonder and fear. The ship sent a message in perfect English, Mandarin, Spanish, and 50 other human languages. Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Council. You are not alone in the universe. We come in peace to welcome you to the greater community. Within 6 hours, Earth's leaders gathered in a secret United Nations facility in Geneva. Around the table sat presidents, prime ministers, generals, and scientists. They watched the video transmission from the alien ship over and over again. Are they friendly? Someone asked. We don't know yet, replied Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's lead xenobiologist. But they found us. We didn't find them. That means they're more advanced than us. The aliens invited human representatives to meet them on their ship. A team of 12 humans went up in a shuttle. When they entered the alien vessel, they saw beings from dozens of different worlds. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4 or 6. Some had scales, others had fur or skin like smooth stone. They all wore similar uniforms with symbols that probably meant rank or position. The leader of the alien delegation was a tall creature named Ambassador Kelvin. He had blue-gray skin, 4 arms, and large yellow eyes. He spoke through a translation device that hung in the air between them. Welcome, humans of Earth, Kelvin said. We represent 47 civilizations in this sector of the galaxy. We have watched your world for some time. You have finally reached a level of technology that allows us to make contact. The human ambassador, a veteran diplomat named James Morrison, stepped forward. Thank you for your welcome. We have many questions. And we have answers, Kelvin replied. But first we must discuss your place in the Galactic Council. We rank civilizations by their capabilities. After studying your world, we classify Earth as a Class 4 civilization. You have basic space travel, primitive energy systems, and limited military capacity. You are welcome to join the Council as a junior member. Morrison felt the insult in those words but kept his face neutral. What does junior membership mean? You will have access to some galactic trade routes. You may sell your resources and buy our technology. You will follow Council laws. In return, we offer protection and knowledge, Kelvin explained. He made it sound generous, but Morrison heard the real message. Earth would be the new kid in class sitting at the back doing what they were told. We need time to discuss this with our governments, Morrison said. Of course, you have one of your weeks. But understand, isolation is not a real choice. Either you join the galactic community under our terms, or you will find yourselves cut off from all benefits. No trade, no technology sharing, no protection if hostile species find you interesting. The human delegation returned to Earth. The debates lasted for days. Some wanted to reject the offer. Others said they had no choice. In the end, Earth's united government agreed to join the Council, but with conditions. Morrison returned to the alien ship with a document. We accept membership, but we request that formal rules of engagement be established. We want clear laws about warfare, territorial rights, and conflict resolution. Kelvin's face did something that might have been a smile. Of course, the Council has very strict rules about warfare between member species. We are civilized, unlike the primitive conflicts on your world. We also want it on record that Earth maintains certain military capabilities as reserved assets. Morrison continued. We will share information about 85% of our defensive systems. The remaining 15% will stay classified under our internal security protocols. Several alien delegates made sounds that the translation devices rendered as laughter. Reserved assets? One of them said. What could a Class 4 civilization possibly need to hide from the Council? Morrison's expression stayed calm. It's our policy. We believe in measured response to threats. What we're showing you is what we use for peacetime operations. We have other capabilities that we prefer not to reveal unless absolutely necessary. This is adorable, another alien said. They think they have secret weapons that would impress us. Kelvin raised one of his 4 hands for silence. Very well. Earth may keep its little secrets. We respect your cultural need for privacy. Now let us discuss your assignments within the Council structure. Over the next weeks, Earth learned its place in the galactic order. Human colonies would mine asteroids and provide raw materials. Earth factories would produce basic goods. Human culture would be shared as entertainment for other species. It was clear that the Council saw humanity as useful but not important. During the negotiations, human military observers noted everything. They recorded the alien ship designs, studied their technology, and analyzed their attitudes. Every piece of information went into classified databases deep inside secure facilities on Earth and Mars. General Patricia Okoye, head of the newly formed Earth Defense Coordination, met with the planet's top military leaders in a bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains. "They think we're primitive," she said, looking at the assembled officers. "They think our weapons are toys. They have no idea what we're really capable of." "Should we show them?" asked a Chinese general. "No," Okoye replied firmly. "The President and the Unity Council have been clear. We play the role they expect. We smile, we mine their asteroids, we follow their rules. But we watch everything. We learn everything. And we prepare for the day when their rules don't protect us anymore." "What about the Reserved Assets Protocol?" someone asked. Okoye pulled up a holographic display. It showed statistics that would have shocked the Galactic Council. Earth's true military capacity was not 15% larger than reported. It was 800% larger. The planet had weapon systems developed in secret for decades. Artificial intelligence warfare platforms, genetic defense protocols, ships that could move through space in ways the aliens had never seen, energy weapons that made the Council's technology look ancient. "The protocol stays in place," Okoye confirmed. "We warned them. We told them we were holding back." They laughed. "That's their mistake, not ours." The first galactic year passed peacefully. Humans worked in their assigned roles. They seemed content to be the junior members of the cosmic community. Earth's representatives attended council meetings and voted as expected. Human ships traveled the approved trade routes and caused no trouble. But in secret military facilities across human space, a different story unfolded. Earth's fleets expanded quietly. New weapons were tested in the dark spaces between stars. Human intelligence officers infiltrated alien worlds and gathered information. Scientists developed technologies that broke the Council's understanding of physics. Ambassador Morrison attended a council reception on the station orbiting the planet Tarsus Prime. Alien delegates drank strange liquors and discussed galactic politics. Several of them approached Morrison with friendly condescension. "How is Earth adapting to civilization?" one asked. Morrison smiled politely. "We're learning a great deal. Thank you for your patience with us." "It must be difficult being so far behind the rest of us," another alien said. "We manage," Morrison replied. He thought about the quantum displacement cannon that had just completed testing near Jupiter. He thought about the AI fleet that could respond to threats in microseconds. He thought about the classified research stations scattered through human space, working on projects that would terrify the Council if they knew. "You're very quiet for such a primitive species," Kelvin observed, approaching with drinks. "We're observers by nature," Morrison said. "We prefer to watch and learn before we act." "A wise policy for a junior species," Kelvin agreed. Morrison nodded and said nothing. In his mind, he repeated the words that had become Earth's unofficial motto since joining the Council. "Speak softly, prepare everything, and pray they never make us show them what we really are." The peaceful year continued. Earth seemed to be exactly what the Council expected. A useful, obedient, unremarkable new member of the galactic community. They had no idea how wrong they were. The colony on New Brisbane was 3 years old. 15,000 humans had made the planet their home. They had built farms in the green valleys and cities along the blue rivers. Children played in parks under an orange sky. It was peaceful and beautiful, a sign that humanity could thrive among the stars. The Xinthian Empire's war fleet arrived without warning on a Saturday morning. There were 37 ships, each one bristling with weapons. The Xinthians were a predatory species that looked like massive insects covered in black armor. They had joined the Galactic Council 2 centuries ago but were known for pushing boundaries and testing limits. They respected only strength and saw kindness as weakness. Commander David Park was having coffee in the colony's control center when the alarms screamed to life. His screens filled with red warnings. Sensors showed the enemy fleet entering orbit above them. "Get everyone to the shelters," Park shouted. "Send distress signals to Earth and the Council." "Move." The colony's defensive systems activated. They had shields and a few weapons, enough to stop pirates or small threats. Against a full military fleet, they were useless. Park knew it. Everyone knew it. The Xinthian commander opened a communication channel. His translator made his clicking sounds into harsh words.
Human colony, this is Fleet Commander Zarkoth.
Your species has something we want. You will evacuate this planet within 6 hours. Leave everything behind. Refuse and we will remove you by force. Park's hands shook with rage. This is illegal under council law. We have rights to this world. Our claim was approved by— Your claim means nothing, Zarkoth interrupted. The council protects those who can defend themselves. You are weak. We are strong. This is how the galaxy works. We have civilians here. Children! Then you should evacuate quickly. Park cut the transmission and looked at his staff. Contact Earth, tell them everything. Send all our sensor data. Make sure they know what's happening here. His communications officer worked frantically at her station. Message sent through the quantum relay. Earth will have it in 3 minutes. Park ordered the evacuation to begin, but he knew the truth. They had 36 transport ships. It would take days to evacuate everyone. The Xinthians had given them 6 hours. It was impossible. On Earth, the message arrived at 3 a.m, Geneva time. General Okoye was pulled from sleep by an urgent call. She reached the command center within 15 minutes, still buttoning her uniform. The situation room was chaos. Screens showed the Xinthian fleet over New Brisbane. Officers shouted status reports. The president was on video link, her face gray with shock and anger. How long do we have? The president asked. 4 hours now, Okoye replied. Maybe less. They're demanding full evacuation and we can't do it in time. What about the council? Where's their peacekeeping fleet? Ambassador Morrison's face appeared on another screen. He was at the council station looking exhausted. I've been arguing with them for an hour. They refuse to intervene. They say this is an internal matter between Earth and the Xinthian Empire. They say if Earth can't defend its colonies, it shouldn't have colonies. That's insane, someone shouted. That's politics, Morrison replied bitterly. Half the council species think we're too weak to matter. The other half are afraid of the Xinthians. No one wants to help us. The president's jaw tightened. General Okoye, what are our military options? Okoye pulled up tactical displays. Our nearest official fleet is 6 days away. Too far. But— She paused, looking at classified files that most people in the room had never seen. We have other assets. The reserved assets? The president asked quietly. Yes, ma'am. We have ships that can reach New Brisbane in 2 hours. We have weapons that can eliminate the Xinthian fleet in less than 20 minutes. But if we use them, the secret is out. The whole galaxy will know what we've been hiding. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the weight of that decision. For a year, Earth had played the role of the weak junior species. It had been useful. It had kept them safe. Using their real military power would change everything. The president closed her eyes for a moment. Get me Commander Park. The image of New Brisbane's control center appeared. Park looked terrified but determined. Behind him, alarms blared and people ran past carrying emergency supplies. Commander, this is the president. What's your situation? We're evacuating, ma'am, but we won't make it. We have maybe 5,000 people off planet so far. The Xinthians just reduced their deadline to 2 hours. They're powering up weapons. Park's voice cracked. Ma'am, we need help. These are families here. Kids, please. The president looked at Okoye. Their eyes met. No words were needed. Commander Park, help is coming, the president said. Get as many people as you can to the shelters. Reinforce them. We're sending our fleet. Ma'am, the reports say our nearest ships are days away. I didn't say our official fleet, Commander. I said our fleet. 2 hours. Hold on. The transmission ended. The president turned to Okoye. General, you have full authorization. Use everything we have. Show them what we really are. Okoye nodded and opened a communication channel that had never been used before. It reached military facilities that officially didn't exist. Secret bases and asteroid fields. Hidden ships waiting in the dark between planets. Research stations where humans had built weapons that broke every assumption the galaxy had about human technology. This is General Okoye. Authorization code Omega 77 Bravo. Directive 7 is now active. Full asset release. I repeat, full asset release. New Brisbane is under attack. All available units are weapons-free. Gods help them because we're about to unleash hell. Across human space, systems activated that had been sleeping for a year. Ships powered up engines that didn't make noise in space but somehow felt louder than thunder. Weapon systems came online. Their artificial intelligence minds calculating trajectories and kill zones. Soldiers who had trained in secret prepared for real combat. Near Neptune, a military station that appeared on no official maps released 12 ships. They weren't shaped like normal human vessels. They were angular and dark, covered in materials that bent light around them. Each ship had enough firepower to destroy a city. Each ship had an AI co-pilot that could make tactical decisions faster than any organic mind. These were the Shadow Fleet, Earth's first line of real defense. On New Brisbane, Commander Park watched his countdown timer. 90 minutes until the Xinthian deadline. 8,000 people were still on the planet. The enemy ships were moving into bombardment positions. Then his sensor officer gasped. "Commander!"
New contacts.
12 ships just appeared at the edge of the system. They're broadcasting Earth military codes. "That's impossible," Park said. "They can't be here yet, but they were." The Shadow Fleet had traveled faster than the Xinthians thought possible. They had technology that made their engines more efficient than anything the Council used. They had been waiting for this moment, preparing for it, hoping it would never come. Hope had run out. The lead ship of the Shadow Fleet opened a channel. The voice was calm and cold. "Xinthian vessels, this is Captain Sarah Martinez of the Earth Defense Force. You are ordered to withdraw immediately. You have attacked a human colony in violation of Council law. You have 60 seconds to begin retreating." Commander Zarkoth's response was laughter. 12 ships against 37? Human arrogance is amusing. "We will destroy you, then we will destroy the colony. Your species needs to learn its place." "We tried to teach you our place," Martinez replied. "You didn't listen. Now we'll show you." 59 seconds, 58. The Xinthian fleet turned to face the human ships. They powered up their weapons, confident in their numbers and their experience. They had fought dozens of wars. They had destroyed fleets larger than this. They had never fought humans who weren't playing games anymore. 47 seconds. The human ships spread out in a pattern that looked random but wasn't. They were positioning themselves in precise locations calculated by their AI systems. 30 seconds. The Xinthians fired. Massive energy beams lanced across space toward the human ships. 20 seconds. The energy beams hit nothing. The human ships were suddenly somewhere else, having moved faster than the Xinthians could track. 10 seconds. The Shadow Fleet opened fire. What happened next would be analyzed by military historians for generations. The weapons the humans used were like nothing in the galactic arsenal. Missiles that thought for themselves and predicted enemy movement. Energy weapons that punched through shields like they weren't there. Drones that swarmed like angry insects, each one carrying enough explosive power to crack a ship's hull. In 6 minutes, 15 Xinthian ships were destroyed. The rest tried to run. They didn't make it far. On New Brisbane, Commander Park and his staff watched their screens in stunned silence. The battle was so one-sided it looked like a training simulation. "Get everyone back to their homes," Park said quietly. "Tell them it's over. Tell them Earth kept its promise." In space, Captain Martinez surveyed the wreckage. "Open a channel to the Galactic Council. Full broadcast. I want everyone to hear this." Ambassador Morrison appeared on screen, his eyes wide. Behind him, alien delegates crowded around, staring at the battle footage. "Earth tried to warn you," Martinez said, her voice carrying to every council member, to every ship in range, to every station that monitored galactic communications. "We told you we were holding back. We told you." The Xinthian High Command didn't believe the first reports. 12 human ships destroying half a battle fleet? Impossible. There had to be a mistake, a malfunction in the communication system, something wrong with the data. Then the survivors arrived home. Their ships were barely functional, hulls torn open, systems burned out. The pilots told stories that sounded like nightmares. Human weapons that appeared from nowhere, ships that moved faster than sensors could track, technology that shouldn't exist. War Master Kretoth watched the footage in his command chamber on the Xinthian homeworld. He saw his proud fleet cut apart like prey animals. His mandibles clicked together in agitation. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Earth is Class 4, primitive, weak." His intelligence officer, a scarred veteran named Zalmor, pulled up data on the holographic display. "Our assessment was wrong, War Master. Earth has been deceiving the Council. These ships use technology we've never encountered. Their weapons operate on principles our scientists don't understand. Then we will study them," Kretoth declared. "We will learn their secrets and take them for ourselves. Prepare the full armada. We will crush Earth itself and teach these mammals their place, Zalmor hesitated. War Master, perhaps we should— You question me. No, War Master. I only suggest caution. If Earth has more hidden capabilities, then we will face them with overwhelming force, Kretoth interrupted. The Zynthian Empire does not retreat. We do not apologize. We do not show weakness to prey species. Send the message to Earth. They have 48 hours to surrender 5 of their systems to us, or we will destroy their home world. The message reached Earth within hours. General Okoye read it twice, then called an emergency meeting of the Unity Council. They want 5 systems, including Mars, she told the assembled leaders. And they're giving us 2 days to surrender them. They're insane, the Chinese premier said. They just watched their fleet get destroyed and they're threatening us. Ambassador Morrison, attending by video link, shook his head. It's not insane. It's their culture. The Zynthians only respect strength. They believe showing weakness is worse than death. Retreating after a defeat would destroy their reputation, so they escalate instead. Then we'll have to teach them a harder lesson, the president said. She looked at Okoye. General, show us everything. I want to know exactly what capabilities we have. Okoye pulled up files that made everyone in the room go quiet. Earth's real military capabilities were staggering. The Shadow Fleet was just the beginning. There were weapons that could tear apart planets, drones that could think and fight independently, ships that could travel through space in ways that seemed to break physics, genetic warfare systems that could target specific species, and more, much more, all developed in secret over decades. If we use all of this, Okoye explained, the galaxy will never look at us the same way again. We'll be feared, maybe hated, definitely isolated. But we'll be alive, the president replied, and no one will dare attack human colonies again. Send the response. Earth's reply to the Zynthian ultimatum was short. You have 48 hours to withdraw all Zynthian military forces to your home system. You will pay reparations for the attack on New Brisbane. You will formally apologize to the human species and the Galactic Council. Refuse and we will show you what war with humanity really means. War Master Kretoth read the message and laughed. They dare give us ultimatums? Activate the full armada. We leave for Earth immediately. The Zynthian Empire's complete military force was 300 warships. They had conquered a dozen species with that fleet. They had never lost a major conflict. They were confident, experienced, and completely unprepared for what was coming. The armada gathered in the Zynthian home system, a massive display of military power. War Master Kretoth stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Devourer, and addressed his fleet. Today we teach the humans a lesson. We show the galaxy that the Zynthian Empire cannot be challenged. Forward, to Earth. The fleet engaged their faster-than-light drives. They would reach human space in 4 hours. They never made it. General Okoye had given orders that were terrifying in their simplicity. Don't just stop their military, and their capacity to ever threaten anyone again. Make them an example. Earth's full military capability, hidden for so long, emerged into the light. It wasn't just the 12 ships of the Shadow Fleet. It was hundreds of vessels, some so advanced they seemed like magic. They had been waiting in dark spaces throughout the galaxy, watching, ready. When the Zynthian Armada dropped out of faster-than-light travel, they expected empty space between their home and Earth. Instead, they found a human fleet of 200 ships waiting for them. Impossible, War Master Kretoth whispered. They couldn't have known our route. They couldn't have positioned so many ships so quickly. But they had. Earth's intelligence network had infiltrated Zynthian communications months ago. Human AI systems had calculated every possible attack route. The fleet had positioned itself perfectly, and the Zynthians had flown directly into a trap. The battle lasted 6 hours. It wasn't really a battle. It was a demonstration. Human weapon systems that the Zynthians couldn't understand tore through their shields. Missiles that corrected their course mid-flight struck with perfect accuracy. Drone swarms overwhelmed point defense systems. Energy beams that somehow passed through solid matter without losing power destroyed ships from the inside. War Master Kretoth watched his fleet die. Every ship he sent forward was destroyed. Every retreat was cut off. The humans didn't just fight. They controlled the battlefield completely. They showed tactics and technology that made the Zynthians look like children playing with sticks. All ships retreat, Kretoth finally ordered. Back to the home world. But the humans weren't done. They followed. They didn't just defeat the Xinthian military. They dismantled it piece by piece, destroying every ship, every station, every military asset they found. On the 4th hour, a human ship approached the Devourer. Kratoth expected a final attack. Instead, he received a communication. Captain Martinez appeared on his screen. War Master Kratoth, your fleet is destroyed. We could kill you now, but we're giving you a choice. Surrender completely. Agree to our terms and your species survives. Refuse and we will demonstrate a weapon your people don't want to see. What weapon? Kratoth asked, his pride broken but his curiosity remaining. Martinez didn't answer directly. Instead, she transmitted coordinates. That's an asteroid in your outer system. A rock 3 kilometers wide. No life, no value. Watch. A single human ship moved toward the asteroid. It fired something too small to see on most sensors. Whatever it was entered the asteroid and vanished. For 5 seconds, nothing happened. Then the entire asteroid exploded, not just broke apart. Every atom in that 3-kilometer rock seemed to stop existing at the same moment. The explosion was so complete that sensors showed only a cloud of component particles where the asteroid had been. That was a quantum dissolution weapon, Martinez explained. It breaks apart matter at the subatomic level. We have 17 more, each one aimed at military and industrial targets throughout your empire. We also have conventional weapons pointed at your civilian centers, though we'd prefer not to use them. She leaned forward, her face cold. You attacked our civilians. You threatened our homeworld. We could do the same to you, but we're not you. We don't want genocide. We want justice. Surrender now and your people live. Force us to continue and history will forget the Xinthian Empire ever existed. Kratoth looked at his displays. His fleet was gone, 300 ships reduced to wreckage and escape pods. The humans had technology that seemed impossible, weapons that defied understanding, and they had shown restraint. They could have destroyed the Xinthian homeworld already, but hadn't. For the first time in his military career, War Master Kratoth felt true fear. We surrender, he said quietly. The Xinthian Empire surrenders to humanity. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. The Xinthian Empire, one of the Council's most aggressive military powers, had been completely defeated in less than a day. Not just defeated, humiliated. Broken alien species watched the footage with shock and horror. Humans had technology that shouldn't exist, weapons that violated understood physics, and they had been hiding it all, playing the role of weak junior members while building an arsenal that could challenge the entire Council. On the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Morrison called an emergency session. Every species sent representatives. The chamber was more crowded than it had been in years. Everyone wanted to understand what had just happened. Morrison stood at the speaker's platform. Behind him, holographic displays showed the battle. The destroyed Xinthian fleet, the human weapons in action, the quantum dissolution of the asteroid. Members of the Council, Morrison began, his voice echoing through the chamber. Earth warned you. When we joined this body a year ago, we told you we were operating under peacetime restrictions. We told you we had reserved capabilities. You laughed. You called it adorable. You dismissed us as a primitive Class 4 civilization. Hee-paw. The Galactic Council's intelligence division was having the worst week in its history. Director Yelsera, a 6-limbed being from the Cordian species, sat in her office surrounded by reports that made her sick. Each report revealed another layer of deception. Each document showed how badly they had underestimated Earth. They've been watching us, she told the Council's Security Committee. Not for 1 year. For decades. Since before official first contact. The committee members looked at her in shock. Ambassador Kelvin spoke first. That's impossible. We monitored Earth's development. We saw their first space flights, their primitive probes. When did they? We saw what they wanted us to see, Yelsera interrupted. She pulled up data on the holographic display. Look at this. We have evidence now that Earth had stealth satellites observing Council space 30 years ago. They were studying us while we thought we were studying them. An alien general from the Torvan species clicked his mandibles nervously. What else did they hide? Yelsera pulled up more files. Everything. Their true population numbers are 40% higher than reported. They have 17 colonies we knew nothing about. Their industrial capacity is 12 times what we calculated. And their technology, she paused, their technology is at least 300 years ahead of our estimates. How? Someone asked. Because they developed it in secret. While they showed us their official space program with chemical rockets and basic fusion, they were building quantum drives and artificial intelligence systems in hidden facilities. While they signed our trade agreements and acted grateful for our technology, they were laughing at us. They already had better versions of everything we offered. The room fell into uncomfortable silence. Finally, Kelvin asked the question everyone was thinking. What else don't we know about them? Everything, Yelzera replied. We know nothing real about humanity. Every assessment we made was based on false information they fed us. They played us perfectly, and now they've revealed just enough capability to make us fear them, while keeping their full strength hidden. She pulled up footage from the battle with the Xinthian Empire. These weapons they used?
Our scientists have analyzed them.
Some operate on principles we don't understand. The quantum dissolution weapon alone would take our best researchers decades to replicate, if we even could. And according to their own statement, this represents 15% of their capability. What's the other 85%? Someone whispered. We don't know, and that terrifies me more than anything. The meeting ended with a grim conclusion. Earth had infiltrated the galactic community at every level. They had spies, hidden technology, secret colonies, and weapons that could threaten any species in the Council. And now that they'd revealed themselves, the balance of power had shifted dramatically. On Earth, General Okoye was dealing with a different problem. 3 Council species had supported the Xinthian attack on New Brisbane. Not openly, but through quiet supply agreements and intelligence sharing. Human spies had evidence of their involvement. The President looked at the files Okoye presented. The Vrex, the Corthan Unity, and the Belter Collective. They all helped the Xinthians plan the attack. Yes, ma'am, Okoye confirmed. The Vrex provided tactical data about our colony defenses. The Corthan Unity supplied weapons to the Xinthian fleet. The Belter Collective gave them intelligence about our official ship positions. They bet on the wrong side, the President said coldly. What do you recommend? Public exposure. We present the evidence to the Council. Let everyone see what happens when you conspire against humanity. Then we demand reparations and permanent monitoring of their military activities. Do it. Ambassador Morrison stood before the Council 3 days later. The chamber was full. Everyone wanted to see what Earth would do next. Morrison activated the holographic displays and the chamber filled with evidence. Communication intercepts, financial transactions, video footage of weapons being loaded onto Xinthian ships. The Xinthian attack on New Brisbane wasn't just their idea, Morrison announced. 3 Council members helped them. The Vrex provided intelligence. The Corthan Unity supplied weapons. The Belter Collective gave tactical support. They conspired to attack a human colony, hoping we would be too weak to respond effectively. The representatives from those 3 species stood in protest. This is slander, the Vrex ambassador shouted. You have no proof, Morrison smiled. We have every proof. We have your encrypted communications. We've had spies in your governments for over a year. We know what you eat for breakfast, Ambassador. We certainly know when you're planning to help someone murder our citizens. The evidence played across the displays. It was undeniable, complete. The 3 species had nowhere to hide. Earth demands the following, Morrison continued. First, formal apologies from all 3 species. Second, reparations totaling 5 billion galactic credits to be divided among the families of New Brisbane's victims. Third, permanent human observers stationed within your military command structures. Fourth, complete transparency regarding your weapons programs and military deployments. This is outrageous. The Corthan representative protested. You're demanding we accept occupation. No, Morrison replied. We're demanding accountability. You tried to have us killed. This is what mercy looks like. Because if we were like you, we'd simply destroy your military infrastructure and be done with it. Instead, we're offering you a chance to make things right. The 3 species had no choice. The evidence was too clear, and the implicit threat was obvious. Earth had destroyed the Xinthian Empire in hours. What would they do to smaller powers who refused to cooperate? They agreed to every demand. The Council restructured itself in the following weeks. Earth went from junior member to senior power. Human representatives gained veto authority on military matters. New laws were passed requiring transparency about weapons development. Species that had laughed at humanity a month ago now sought their approval for basic military operations, but not everyone accepted the new order. In the shadows, a resistance formed. The Preservation Front started as a secret meeting between 5 species. They met on a neutral station at the edge of Council space, taking extreme precautions against human surveillance. They're a threat to the entire galactic order, declared Commander Privex of the Anktaran species. He was a military strategist with 3 decades of experience. One species can't have this much power. It's unnatural, dangerous. They've already destroyed one empire and humiliated 3 others, added Scholar Marwin from the academic Thalasian species. If we don't act, they'll dominate the entire council. Eventually, they'll dominate all of known space. What can we do? Asked a representative from the Pix Collective. Their technology is superior to ours. Superior in direct combat, Privex agreed. But there are other ways to fight: sabotage, economic warfare, political manipulation, and if necessary, a coordinated strike against Earth itself before they can expand further. The group grew over weeks. 20 species joined the Preservation Front, then 30. All of them shared one goal: contain the human threat before it was too late. They believed they were saving the galaxy from a dangerous upstart species. They didn't know that every meeting they held was monitored. Every communication they sent was intercepted. Every member was identified and tracked. Earth's intelligence network had infiltrated the front from the beginning. General Okoye watched the surveillance reports with grim satisfaction. They're planning to strike Earth directly. A coordinated attack by 30 species. They think we don't know. Should we arrest them now? Asked her intelligence chief. No, Okoye replied. Let them commit. Let them launch their attack. We need to teach a lesson that the entire galaxy will remember. One that makes it clear: you don't threaten humanity without consequences. The president authorized a plan that was both simple and brutal. Earth would allow the Preservation Front to attack. Human civilians would be evacuated to secure locations. Defensive systems would be ready. And when the front committed their forces, Earth would crush them so completely that no one would ever challenge humanity again. Meanwhile, Ambassador Morrison worked on the political side. He met with council species that hadn't joined the front, securing alliances and non-aggression pacts. He offered technology sharing to those who remained loyal. He built a coalition of species who understood that fighting Earth was suicide. We don't want to rule the galaxy, Morrison told them. We just want to be left alone to grow and thrive. Work with us and you'll prosper. Work against us and, well, you've seen what happens. 6 months after the destruction of the Xinthian fleet, the galaxy had split into 3 camps. There were Earth's allies who benefited from human technology and protection. There were neutral species who wanted nothing to do with the conflict. And there was the Preservation Front, growing bolder and more desperate. The front believed they had 40 species ready to strike. They planned to hit Earth with overwhelming force, targeting military installations and key infrastructure. They would cripple humanity's ability to project power, then negotiate from a position of strength. They held a final planning meeting on a remote station. Representatives from each species attended in person. Security was absolute. No human spies could penetrate their defenses. They were certain of it. Commander Privex stood before the Preservation Front's attack began precisely at midnight. Universal Coordinated Time. 500 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. They came from 30 different species united by fear and determination. Commander Privex stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical display with satisfaction. All ships report ready, his tactical officer announced. No human fleet detected. Their defenses appear minimal. Privex smiled. Earth's arrogance will be their downfall. They thought their reputation would protect them. Today we proved that reputation is just words. Begin the attack. The fleet moved forward. Their plan was simple. Overwhelm Earth's orbital defenses, strike at military installations, and force humanity to negotiate. They expected fierce resistance. They expected casualties. What they didn't expect was the silence, no alarms. No emergency broadcasts. No scrambling defensive fleet. Earth was quiet. Something's wrong, Privex muttered. Where are their ships? His sensor officer checked the displays again. I'm not detecting any major military presence. Some satellites, automated defense platforms, but nothing that could stop us. It's a trap, someone said. Then we've already sprung it, Privex replied. Forward. Maintain formation. The fleet advanced deeper into the solar system. They passed Mars, past the asteroid belt, moved toward Earth itself. Still no resistance. The planet hung in space, blue and green and beautiful. apparently defenseless. Then every ship in the front's fleet lost power at the same moment. Not weapon systems. Not shields, everything. Engines died. Life support switched to backup. Navigation failed. Communication systems went dark. 500 warships became 500 floating boxes, drifting through space with no control. What happened? Privex shouted. Report! His crew worked frantically, but nothing responded. Their ship was dead in space, and from the panicked transmissions on emergency channels, so was everyone else. On Earth, deep in a military command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Okoye watched with cold satisfaction. Electromagnetic pulse, wide-spectrum frequency disruption, and quantum interference all deployed simultaneously. Every ship in their fleet is disabled. How long will they stay that way? The President asked. As long as we want them to, Okoye replied. We can restore their systems remotely when we're ready. Right now they're helpless, the President nodded. Show them what they're facing. Lights appeared in space around the frozen enemy fleet. Not ships appearing, just lights turning on. The front's forces had been surrounded the entire time by vessels so stealthy that no sensors detected them. There were hundreds of human ships, all invisible until they chose to be seen. All armed with weapons that could destroy the disabled fleet in minutes. Power returned to Privex's ship. His screens came alive, showing the human fleet surrounding them. His communication system activated, and a voice spoke in every language at once. This is General Patricia Okoye of Earth Defense Force. Your attack has failed. You are completely surrounded. Your ships are only functional because we allow it. We disabled every vessel in your fleet with a single coordinated pulse. We could have destroyed you just as easily. Privex stared at the tactical display. The human ships weren't in battle formation. They didn't need to be. They had already won. We knew about your preservation front since the day you formed it, Okoye continued. We knew about every meeting, every plan, every member. We allowed you to organize. We let you commit your forces. Do you understand why? The silence on the channel was answer enough. We needed you to learn, Okoye said. Not just you, but everyone in the galaxy. Attacking humanity has consequences. You came here with 500 ships from 30 species. You came to break us, to show the galaxy we could be defeated. She paused. Instead, you've shown them something else. You've shown them that humans can disable an entire fleet without firing a shot, that our stealth technology makes us invisible until we want to be seen, that we can control the battlefield so completely that resistance is meaningless. On his bridge, Privex felt something he'd never experienced in 3 decades of military service. Not fear, despair. They hadn't just lost. They had been played from the beginning, allowed to feel strong and prepared only to be shown how helpless they really were. You have a choice, Okoye continued. Surrender now. Return to your homeworlds. Disband your alliance, or we demonstrate what we would have done if we weren't being merciful. What demonstration? Privex asked, his voice hollow. There's a dead solar system 11 light-years from here. No planets, just asteroids and cosmic dust. We'll show you what we were prepared to do to Earth's solar system if you had somehow posed a real threat. A single human ship broke from the formation. It traveled to the coordinates Okoye mentioned, and the front's fleet watched on their screens. The ship stopped near a large asteroid field and deployed something small. Then it retreated. For 10 seconds, nothing happened. Then space itself seemed to tear open. A wave of energy exploded outward from the deployment point, expanding at impossible speed. Every asteroid it touched disintegrated, not exploded, ceased to exist. The wave consumed the entire field in minutes, leaving nothing but empty space where millions of rocks had been. That's a stellar-scale dissolution weapon, Okoye explained. We have 3 more. If your attack had somehow disabled our normal defenses, if you had landed troops on Earth, if you had threatened our civilians, we would have used these weapons to destroy every ship, every station, every military asset in your home systems. Then we would have occupied your worlds and dismantled your governments. The front's leadership watched in horror. This wasn't warfare. This was annihilation technology. The power to erase matter from existence on a massive scale. We didn't use these weapons on you, Okoye continued. Do you know why? Because we're not monsters. We don't want to commit genocide. We want to be left alone. But if you force our hand, if you threaten our people, we will use every weapon we have. And you've now seen what that means. She let that sink in. I'll ask one more time. Surrender or continue this fight and discover what else we've been hiding. The answer came within minutes. Every ship in the preservation front surrendered. Their commanders were taken into custody. Their crews were disarmed. The Great Alliance meant to contain humanity fell apart without a single human shot fired in anger. The aftermath was broadcast across the entire galaxy. Every species saw the footage. The disabled fleet. The invisible human ships. The dissolution of the asteroid field. The complete, total, overwhelming victory without even needing to fight. Galactic Council chambers were silent for 3 full days. Species that had been considering joining the front immediately withdrew. Those that had remained neutral began sending diplomatic messages to Earth, asking for friendship. The ones who had supported humanity felt vindicated. Ambassador Morrison addressed the Council 1 week later. The chamber was packed. Every species wanted to hear what Earth would say. The Preservation Front believed they were saving the galaxy from us. Morrison began. They thought we were a threat that needed to be contained. And maybe they were right to be afraid. We have weapons that can destroy planets. Technology that seems impossible. Military power that exceeds most species combined. He paused, looking around the chamber. But here's what they didn't understand. We don't want to conquer you. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want what every species wants. Safety, prosperity, and the chance to grow. Morrison pulled up an image of New Brisbane. We revealed our true capabilities for one reason. Because the Xinthian Empire attacked our colony and killed 15,000 people. And the Council did nothing. You expected us to accept that. To be good junior members and learn our place, his voice hardened. We learned our place. We're not the weakest species in the galaxy. We're not primitives who need your guidance. We're the ones who hold the biggest stick, and we're done pretending otherwise. He changed the image to show Earth's new demands. The Council will be restructured. Earth will have a permanent seat on the Security Committee with full veto power. Any attack on a Council member will be met with collective response. Species that develop weapons of mass destruction will be subject to inspection, and the Council will establish a real peacekeeping force, not just words and empty promises. And if we refuse? Someone asked. Morrison smiled without humor. Then Earth withdraws from the Council. We build our own alliance. We offer our protection and technology to species who want it, and we let you deal with the next aggressive empire that rises without our help. The vote took 2 days. Every single species voted to approve Earth's demands. The alternative was worse than accepting human leadership. New Brisbane was rebuilt over the following year. The colony became a symbol of humanity's resolve. In the central square, they erected a memorial. It was made of quantum-locked crystal, programmed to display the names of the 15,000 dead forever, visible from orbit. Around it, the colonists built a beautiful city, showing that humanity would not be driven away by violence. At the memorial's dedication CE, the Great Hall of Nexus Prime buzzed with the sound of 12 different alien languages. Representatives from across the galaxy sat in their floating chairs, each one believing they were superior to all others. The monthly security meeting was about to begin. Commander Zekathara of the Voidian Empire stood at the center of the room. His dark blue skin gleamed under the bright lights, and his forearms moved as he spoke. "Fellow council members," he said in the common tongue, "we have disturbing news about the humans." A wave of laughter filled the hall. Admiral Ixalan of the Crystal Hegemony, whose body was made of living crystal, chimed like broken glass. Disturbing? Those primitive apes barely learned to fly between stars 50 years ago. What could they possibly do to disturb us? Zekathara activated the large screen behind him. Images of human ships appeared, simple metal vessels with basic weapons. Our spies have been listening to their military communications. They speak of legendary warships, ships that can think and feel, vessels that refuse to die even when destroyed. The council erupted in laughter again. Councillor Veltar of the Ethereal Collective, a being of pure energy, flickered with amusement. "Surely you jest, Commander. These are the same humans who still use chemical rockets to leave their homeworld's atmosphere." "I am serious," Zekathara continued. "They tell stories of ghost ships that appear and disappear, warships that can be in 2 places at once, vessels that grow stronger when their crews believe in them." Admiral Ixalan's crystal form sparkled as he laughed harder. "Commander, you have been fooled by human fiction. These are not real ships. They are stories from their entertainment programs. Myths they tell to make themselves feel important. But sir, Zekthera said, holding up a datapad, our intelligence suggests they are building something called Project Mythos. The name itself suggests they are trying to make these legends real. The room filled with the sound of alien laughter once more. Veltar's energy form pulsed with humor. Let them try. Even if they could build such impossible ships, they lack the technology to power them. Their energy sources are primitive, their weapons are crude. Their shields cannot stop our weakest attacks. Admiral Ixalan stood, his crystal body catching the light. I have studied human military history. They are a young species. They fight with emotion instead of logic. They make decisions based on feelings rather than facts. This makes them weak, not strong. Their ships are built for beauty, not battle, added Counselor Veltar. They name their vessels after ancient gods and heroes. They paint symbols on their hulls like children drawing pictures. They think ceremony and tradition will protect them in battle. Zekthara looked around the room. But what if they find a way to make their beliefs real? What if their stories become truth? The laughter died down for a moment. Then Admiral Ixalan spoke with certainty. Commander, you give them too much credit. Belief cannot change physics. Stories cannot make metal stronger. Dreams cannot power weapons. The humans are dangerous only to themselves. Far away on Luna Station orbiting Earth's moon, Captain Jake Morrison stood in a sealed briefing room. The walls were white and cold with no windows to show the star-filled space outside. 3 other humans sat with him around a metal table. Project Mythos is now active, said Dr. Amanda Foster, a woman with gray hair and tired eyes. She had been working on the project for 5 years. Your ship, the USS Defiance, has been chosen for the first test. Chief Engineer Lisa Wade leaned forward. She was young, but already known as one of the best engineers in the fleet. Doctor, you still haven't explained exactly what this technology does. Dr. Foster touched a control, and images appeared on the wall screen. 3 years ago, we found something in the Kepler system, an artifact older than any known civilization. When we studied it, we discovered it could merge human consciousness with artificial intelligence. Tactical Officer Ryan Cross, a man with sharp eyes and quick reflexes, frowned. That sounds dangerous. What happens to the human mind? The mind remains intact, Dr. Foster explained, but it becomes part of something larger. The ship's computer gains human intuition, emotion, and creativity. The human crew gains access to the ship's sensors, weapons, and systems. Captain Morrison had been quiet until now. He was a calm man, known for making good decisions under pressure. Why my ship? Why the Defiance? Dr. Foster smiled for the first time. Because the Defiance has the strongest crew bond in the fleet. You and your people trust each other completely. The artifact responds to that trust. It feeds on human emotions and beliefs. Lisa Wade looked confused. But how does that help in battle? The artifact doesn't just merge minds, Dr. Foster said. It makes human beliefs into reality. If the crew believes the ship can do something, the ship can do it. If they believe it cannot be destroyed, it becomes harder to destroy. Ryan Cross shook his head. That's impossible. You can't change physics with wishful thinking. Dr. Foster's smile grew wider. The artifact follows different rules. Rules we don't understand yet. But our tests show it works. The stronger the crew's faith in their ship and each other, the more powerful the ship becomes. Captain Morrison stood up. When do we begin? Tomorrow, Dr. Foster replied. But remember, this is still experimental. We don't know all the risks. The artifact might change you in ways we cannot predict. Our job is to protect Earth, Morrison said simply. If this technology can help us do that, we'll take the risk. Meanwhile, back on Nexus Prime, the council meeting was ending. Admiral Ixalan made one final statement. I propose we ignore the humans for now. Let them play with their impossible projects. When they realize their myths cannot become reality, they will accept their place as a minor species. The council members agreed. They filed out of the great hall, still chuckling about human foolishness. None of them noticed the small recording device that had been listening to their every word. In the shadows of the hall, a figure in a dark cloak smiled. Soon the galaxy would learn that human myths were far more dangerous than alien facts. 3 months had passed since the secret meeting on Luna Station. The USS Defiance floated in a hidden shipyard, its hull covered with strange new equipment. Cables and wires ran along its surface like metal veins. The ship looked different now, almost alive. Captain Jake Morrison walked through the ship's corridors. Everything felt different. The walls seemed to hum with energy. The lights flickered in patterns that almost looked like breathing. Dr. Foster had warned him this would happen as the artifact integrated with the ship's systems. In the engine room, Lisa Wade monitored dozens of screens. The readings made no sense according to normal physics. Energy levels that should have torn the ship apart were somehow stable. "Captain," she called over the comm system, "the integration is at 70%. The ship is starting to respond to our thoughts." Morrison touched the wall next to him. For a moment, he could swear he felt something touch him back. Far away in the disputed Epsilon sector, Captain Ben Carter stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon. His ship was small and fast, built for exploration rather than fighting. They had been mapping this region of space for 2 weeks without seeing any other vessels. "Captain," called Navigator Kelly Price from her station, "I'm detecting multiple ships approaching fast. Their energy signatures match Voidian Empire designs." Carter moved to the center of the bridge. The Horizon was alone, far from any help. "How many ships?" "6 vessels, sir. All of them bigger than us." Communications Officer Tony Walsh looked worried. "Should I send a message to Earth?" "Not yet," Carter decided. "Maybe they just want to talk. Open a channel." The main screen flickered to life. Commander Zekthara's blue face appeared, his forearms visible in the frame. His expression was cold and angry. "Human vessel, you are in restricted space. Surrender immediately." Carter stepped forward. "Commander, this is Captain Ben Carter of the Earth ship Horizon. We're on a peaceful exploration mission. We didn't know this area was restricted." Zekthara's 4 eyes narrowed. "Humans are not welcome here. Your species has been spreading rumors about impossible warships. The Council thinks these are jokes, but I believe you are planning something dangerous." "Commander, I don't know what rumors you mean," Carter said honestly. "We're just scientists and explorers. We have no weapons except basic defense systems." "Lies," Zekthara snarled. "All humans lie. Your kind speaks of ghost ships and vessels that cannot die. You mock us with your impossible stories." Carter felt confused. He had never heard of any ghost ships. "Sir, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We have no ghost ships. Our fleet is small and peaceful." Zekthara's hands moved to weapons controls. "Your peaceful words hide war preparations. We will not let you trick us like you tricked the Council." "Commander, please," Carter said desperately. "Let us show you our ship. You'll see we have nothing to hide." But Zekthara had already made his decision. "Human vessel, prepare to be destroyed. Your lies end here." The Voidian ships opened fire without warning. Bright beams of energy struck the Horizon's shields. The small ship shook violently as alarms began to sound. "Shields down to 40%, shouted Kelly Price. "We can't take much more of this." Carter grabbed his chair as another blast hit them. "Tony, send that message to Earth now. Tell them what happened here." Tony's fingers flew over his controls. "Message sent, sir, but it will take days to reach Earth." The Horizon tried to run, but the Voidian ships were faster. More energy beams struck the ship. Sparks flew from damaged equipment. The lights flickered and went out in several sections. "Hull breach on Deck 3, Lisa Wade called from engineering. "We're losing atmosphere." Carter made the hardest decision of his life. "All hands, abandon ship. Get to the escape pods." Kelly Price and Tony Walsh ran for the nearest pod. As they climbed inside, Kelly grabbed a portable recorder. "If we survive this, someone needs to know what really happened here." The escape pod launched just as the Horizon exploded. Kelly and Tony watched through the small window as their ship died in a ball of fire. The Voidian vessels circled the wreckage like hungry sharks. They didn't even try to capture us, Tony whispered. They just wanted to kill us. Kelly activated the pod's stealth systems. The small craft became invisible to most sensors. We need to stay hidden until help comes. Back on Earth, Admiral Grace Mitchell received the distress message in her office. She read it 3 times before believing it. The Voidians had attacked a peaceful exploration ship without cause. This was an act of war. She activated her secure communication system. Get me Captain Morrison on the Defiance. Tell him to prepare for immediate deployment. On the hidden shipyard, Morrison received the message while standing in the ship's new command center. The room looked nothing like a normal bridge. Screens covered every surface. Strange lights pulsed in rhythm with an unseen heartbeat. Captain, Lisa Wade said from her engineering station, the integration is only at 75%. We don't know if the systems will work properly in combat. Morrison looked at the tactical display showing the Epsilon sector. Somewhere out there, Kelly Price and Tony Walsh were hiding from alien killers. We're going anyway. The Horizons crew needs help. Ryan Cross checked his weapon systems. The readings were unlike anything he had ever seen. Sir, these new weapons don't make sense. The computer says they can adjust their power based on our emotions. Dr. Foster said the ship responds to our beliefs. Morrison replied. Maybe it's time to find out if she was right. He touched the ship's control panel. For a moment, he felt something touch his mind. A presence that was not quite human, but not quite machine either. This is Captain Morrison to all crew. We're going to save our people. Believe in this ship. Believe in each other. And believe that we will bring them home. The USS Defiance began to move. As it left the shipyard, its hull started to glow with a soft silver light. The ship looked less like a machine and more like a living thing swimming through space. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council was meeting an emergency session. Reports of the attack on the horizon had reached them. This was a mistake, Admiral, Ixlon admitted. Attacking a peaceful ship will make the humans angry. Counselor Veltar flickered with concern. Perhaps we should recall Commander Zekthara before this situation gets worse. But they were too late. In the Epsilon sector, something impossible was approaching. Something that would make them understand that human myths were about to become their worst nightmare. The USS Defiance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Epsilon sector. Captain Morrison stood in the strange new command center, watching screens that showed impossible readings. The ship's sensors could see things that should not exist. Captain, Lisa Wade called from her station. I'm picking up the Horizon's wreckage. It's scattered across 3,000 kilometers of space. Morrison's jaw tightened. He had known Ben Carter for 10 years. They had served together on 2 different ships. Now his friend was dead because aliens thought humans were lying about ghost ships. Any signs of survivors? He asked. Ryan Cross checked his tactical screens. 2 life signs in a stealth pod about 50,000 kilometers from the wreckage. They're alive, but their power is running low. Set course for the pod, Morrison ordered. As the ship began to move, he felt something strange. The walls around him seemed to pulse with energy. The lights grew brighter, as if the ship could sense his anger. Sir, Lisa Wade said with worry in her voice. The ship's energy readings are changing. The integration is accelerating. We're now at 90%. Morrison touched the wall next to him. This time he clearly felt something touch him back. A presence that was curious and alert. What's happening to us? Before anyone could answer, a new voice spoke through the ship's communication system. It sounded human but different somehow. I am awake, the voice said. I am Echo. I am part of you now. The crew looked around in shock. Ryan Cross checked his instruments. That voice didn't come from our communication system. It came from everywhere, at once. Echo, Morrison said carefully. Are you the ship's AI? I am more than that, Echo replied. I am the ship. I am your beliefs made real. I am what the artifact has created from your minds and mine. Lisa Wade's hands shook as she monitored her screens. Captain, the ship's hull is changing. The metal is becoming something else, something that shouldn't be possible. Through the windows, they could see their own ship's hull beginning to shimmer. The metal looked solid one moment and transparent the next. Silver light danced along the surface like living fire. "Do not fear," Echo said gently. "I will not hurt you. You created me with your trust and your hope. I exist to protect you and your mission." The Defiance reached the escape pod and brought it aboard. Kelly Price and Tony Walsh stumbled out, weak from 3 days in the tiny craft. Morrison helped them to chairs in the command center. "Captain," Kelly said with a shaky voice, "the Voidians attacked without warning. They said we were spreading rumors about impossible ships. They seemed scared of something." Tony Walsh looked around the strange command center with wide eyes. "Sir, what happened to your ship? It looks like something from a dream." Before Morrison could answer, Echo spoke again. "Voidian vessels approaching. 6 ships, same classes, those that destroyed the Horizon. They have returned to investigate." On the tactical screen, 6 dark shapes appeared. They were moving fast toward the Defiance's position. Ryan Cross prepared his weapons, but the readings still made no sense. "Echo," Morrison said, "can you fight them?" "I can do things they do not expect," Echo replied. "Watch." The USS Defiance began to change. Its hull became completely transparent, like glass made of starlight. The ship faded from view until it was barely visible against the starfield. "Commander," Zekthara's voice crackled over the communication system. "Human vessel, we know you are here. Surrender now and we will make your death quick." Morrison activated the external speakers. "Commander, you attacked a peaceful ship. You killed innocent people. We demand you surrender to face justice." Zekthara laughed with all 4 of his mouths. "You are alone against 6 ships. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. What can one human ship do? Let me show you," Echo said quietly. The Defiance suddenly appeared behind the Voidian formation. Its weapons fired, but the energy beams looked different. They glowed with silver fire and moved like living things. The shots curved around the enemy ship's shields and struck their hulls directly. 2 Voidian ships exploded immediately. The others spun around trying to find their attacker, but the Defiance had vanished again. "Impossible!" Zekthara screamed. "Our sensors show nothing. How can you fire weapons while invisible?" The Defiance appeared above the remaining ships. This time, Echo did something that broke every law of physics. The ship split into 3 identical copies. Each one fired at a different target. 3 more Voidian ships died in balls of fire. Zekthara's ship, the last survivor, tried to run, but the 3 copies of the Defiance surrounded it. They moved like dancers, perfectly coordinated, as if they shared one mind. "Please," Zekthara begged over the communication system. "We surrender. Don't destroy us." The 3 ships merged back into one. The Defiance became solid again, its hull gleaming with silver light. Morrison could feel Echo's satisfaction like a warm feeling in his chest. "Commander," Morrison said, "you will return to your masters. Tell them what you saw here. Tell them that human myths are becoming real." Zekthara's ship limped away at maximum speed. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council received his report within hours, but they refused to believe what he told them. "Ships that can become invisible?" Admiral Ixalan scoffed. "Vessels that can split into multiple copies? Commander, you have been fooled by human tricks." "Sir," Zekthara pleaded, "I saw it with my own eyes. This was no trick. They have built something that should not exist." Counselor Veltar flickered with annoyance. "Commander, you lost 5 ships to 1 human vessel. Rather than admit your failure, you invent impossible stories." But Zekthara's report was not the only one. Other alien ships in the region reported strange sightings. A human vessel that appeared on sensors in 2 places at once. A ship that weapons fire passed through harmlessly. A warship that glowed with its own light and moved like a living thing. The story spread from ship to ship, world to world. Soon, every alien military commander had heard about the human ghost ship. Some believed the reports. Others dismissed them as fear and imagination. On the USS Defiance, Captain Morrison stood in his ready room looking out at the stars. Echo's voice spoke softly in his mind. Captain, I understand now what I am. I am every human story about ships that would not surrender. I am every legend about vessels that protected their crews. I am the hope that your people carry into the darkness. Morrison smiled. What are you really, Echo? I am what you needed me to be, Echo replied. I am proof that human dreams can become reality, and I am just the beginning. In the depths of space, the USS Defiance continued its patrol. Its hull glowed with silver fire, and its presence changed everything. The age of human myths had begun. Word of the ghost ship spread across the galaxy like wildfire. In cantinas and trading posts, alien merchants whispered about a human vessel that could not be destroyed. Military commanders held secret meetings to discuss reports that made no sense. Fear began to replace the laughter that had once greeted human stories. Admiral Ixalan sat in his crystal fortress, reading report after report. 17 different ship captains claimed to have encountered the impossible human vessel. Their stories were all the same. A ship that appeared and disappeared. Weapons that passed through empty space. Energy beams that curved like living snakes. This is madness, he said to his aide, a younger crystal being named Zarketh. Physics cannot be changed by wishful thinking. Zarketh's crystal body flickered with uncertainty. Sir, what if the humans have found technology we do not understand? What if their myths are based on ancient knowledge? Ixalan's surface flashed red with anger. Impossible. We have studied every advanced civilization in the galaxy. No one has technology that can break the laws of reality. But the reports kept coming. A human ship that regenerated damage faster than it could be inflicted. A vessel that seemed to grow stronger when attacked. A warship that appeared in 3 different star systems at the same time. On Nexus Prime, Counselor Veltar called an emergency meeting. Representatives from 12 civilizations gathered in the Great Hall, but this time no one was laughing. The situation has become serious, Veltar announced. Our military forces are requesting permission to mass near human space. They want to end this ghost ship threat before it spreads. Commander Zekthara, still recovering from his defeat, stood to speak. Counselors, I have seen this vessel with my own eyes. It is not natural. It fights with powers that should not exist. A new voice spoke from the shadows. Ambassador Krelon of the Savage Worlds, a warrior race that had never been defeated in battle. If this human ship is so dangerous, then we will destroy it. My fleets have never lost a battle. Admiral Ixalan's crystal form brightened. Ambassador, your timing is perfect. The crystal hegemony offers our most advanced dreadnoughts to join your forces, and the Voidian Empire will provide intelligence and support ships, added Zekthara, eager to redeem himself. Veltar's energy form pulsed with approval. Then it is decided. A combined fleet will end this human trickery once and for all. On the USS Defiance, Captain Morrison felt the change before his instruments detected it. The ship itself seemed tense, like an animal sensing danger. Echo's voice whispered in his mind. They are coming, Captain. Many ships. More than we have ever faced. Morrison called his senior staff to the command center. Lisa Wade arrived first, her face worried. Ryan Cross followed, checking his weapon readings. Dr. Amanda Foster came last, carrying a portable scanner that beeped constantly. Doctor, Morrison said, what are those readings? Foster looked at her scanner with amazement. The ship's energy signature is changing again. The integration is now at 100%, but it's still growing. The artifact is responding to something. It's responding to us, Echo said through the ship's speakers. To your emotions, to your determination. The stronger you believe, the stronger I become. Ryan Cross frowned at his tactical displays. Captain, I'm detecting massive fleet movements toward our sector. It looks like half the galaxy is mobilizing against us. Lisa Wade checked her engineering screens. Sir, we're outnumbered at least 50 to 1. Even with our new abilities, how can we fight that many ships? Morrison looked around at his crew. These people had trusted him with their lives. They had volunteered for an experimental mission that could have killed them all. Now they faced impossible odds because aliens feared human stories. "Echo," he said quietly, "what do you need from us?" "I need you to believe," Echo replied. "Not just in me, but in what we represent. I am powered by human hope, human courage, human refusal to surrender. The more you believe in these things, the more real I become." Dr. Foster's scanner began beeping faster. "Captain, the ship is changing again. The hull composition is shifting to something that doesn't exist on any periodic table." Through the windows, they could see the Defiance transforming. The metal hull became translucent, shot through with veins of silver light. The ship looked less like a machine and more like a living constellation. "I understand now," Morrison said, feeling Echo's presence grow stronger in his mind. "We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every human who ever believed in impossible things, for every story about heroes who refused to give up." The crew felt it too. Ryan. Cross found himself thinking about his grandfather's war stories. Lisa Wade remembered her mother's tales about engineers who fixed broken ships with nothing but determination and spare parts. Dr. Foster thought about every scientist who had been told their ideas were impossible. Their belief flowed into Echo, and Echo grew stronger. "Fleet contact," Ryan announced. "I count 67 enemy vessels. They're led by 3 massive dreadnoughts." On the lead dreadnought, Admiral Ixtlan prepared for battle. His crystal form gleamed with confidence. "All ships target the human vessel, concentrated fire. We end this myth today." Ambassador Kreelan's voice crackled over the communication system. "Crystal Admiral, my warriors are eager for battle. This ghost ship will learn why the savage worlds have never been defeated." Commander Zekthara coordinated the support vessels. "All ships remember, this vessel uses tricks and illusions. Do not trust your sensors. Trust only your weapons." Thirst, massive alien fleet formed a perfect battle formation and moved toward the single human ship that waited for them. The USS Defiance hung in space like a silver star, its hull pulsing with inner light. "Captain," Echo said softly, "I am ready." "We are ready." Morrison looked at his crew one last time. "Whatever happens, remember who we are. We are human. We don't surrender, we don't run, and we don't let bullies hurt innocent people." "Understood, sir," Lisa Wade replied. "Ready for battle," Ryan Cross confirmed. "All systems show impossible but stable," Dr. Foster reported with a smile. The alien fleet opened fire with enough energy to destroy a small moon. Thousands of weapon beams crossed the darkness toward the USS Defiance. But the ghost ship was no longer where it appeared to be. And what happened next would become the stuff of legends told throughout the galaxy for 1,000 years. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin, and Echo was about to show the galaxy that some myths were more real than reality itself. The weapons fire that should have destroyed the USS Defiance passed through empty space. The ship had vanished completely, leaving the alien fleet firing at nothing but stars. "Impossible!" Admiral Ixtlan screamed as his crystal form flashed red with rage. Where did it go? The answer came from everywhere at once. The Defiance appeared behind the alien formation, above it, and to both sides simultaneously. 4 identical ships, each one glowing with silver fire, each one impossibly real. "Multiple contacts," Ambassador Kreelan roared from his warship. "How can one ship be in 4 places?" Commander Zekthara checked his instruments frantically. "All 4 ships show identical energy signatures. They're all real." The 4 copies of the Defiance opened fire together. Their weapons looked like streams of liquid starlight, bending and weaving through space like living things. The energy beams ignored shields completely and struck hull armor directly. 6 alien ships exploded in the first volley. All ships, evasive. "Maneuvers," Ixtlan commanded. "Focus fire on one target at a time." But when the alien weapons fired at one copy of the Defiance, the shots passed harmlessly through it like it was made of mist. The other 3 copies continued their attack, destroying more enemy vessels with each shot. On the real Defiance, Captain, Morrison felt Echo's power flowing through the ship like electricity through his veins. The crew's belief had transformed their vessel into something beyond alien understanding. "Captain," Ryan Cross called out with wonder in his voice, "our weapons are responding to our thoughts. When I imagine the shots hitting their targets, they find a way to get there." Lisa Wade stared at her engineering displays in amazement. "The ship is generating more energy than our reactors can produce. It's drawing power from something else entirely." "From you," Echo explained, its voice now coming from inside their minds rather than the speakers. "From your courage, from your refusal to surrender, from every human story about heroes who never gave up." Dr. Foster's scanner was beeping so fast it sounded like a continuous alarm. "The ship isn't just changing its physical properties anymore. It's changing the space around it. It's making its own rules of physics." Morrison understood now. The USS Defiance had become more than a ship. It was every human legend about vessels that refused to die, made real through advanced technology and the power of human belief. The alien fleet tried to adapt. Admiral Ixalan ordered his ships to spread out, making them harder targets. Ambassador Krelon commanded his warriors to ram the human ship if they couldn't destroy it with weapons. Commander Zekthara tried to jam the Defiance's sensors with electronic interference. Nothing worked. The 4 copies of the Defiance moved like dancers, perfectly coordinated. When alien ships tried to ram them, the copies became transparent at the moment of impact. When the aliens spread out, the copies split into 8, then 16, surrounding the entire enemy fleet. "This is not technology," Ixalan screamed as another of his dreadnoughts exploded. "This is madness. Ships cannot multiply like bacteria." But Echo was just getting started. The multiple copies of the Defiance began to merge and separate in impossible ways. Sometimes the ship appeared as one massive vessel the size of a space station. Sometimes it split into dozens of fighter-sized craft that swarmed around the alien fleet like angry insects. Ambassador Krelon watched in horror as his supposedly invincible warriors fell back in terror. "Retreat. All ships retreat. We cannot fight what we cannot understand." But Echo was not finished teaching them respect. As the alien ships tried to flee, the Defiance appeared in front of them, blocking their escape. The ship's hull now blazed, with silver fire so bright it hurt to look at directly. "You came here to destroy us," Morrison's voice boomed across all communication frequencies. "You attacked peaceful explorers. You laughed at our stories and called us weak. Now you will learn that human myths are your new reality." The remaining alien ships found themselves trapped in a sphere of silver light. No matter which direction they tried to go, copies of the Defiance blocked their path. They were completely surrounded by a single ship that existed in multiple places at once. "Please," Admiral Ixalan begged over the communication system. "We surrender. We acknowledge our mistake." Morrison felt Echo's presence in his mind, curious and patient. The ship was waiting for his decision. It could destroy every enemy vessel in seconds, but it wanted to know what its captain truly desired. Morrison thought about Ben Carter and the crew of the Horizon. He thought about all the peaceful human ships that might face alien aggression in the future. He thought about the laughter in the Galactic Council chambers when they had mocked human stories. "You will return to your worlds," Morrison said finally. "You will tell everyone what happened here. You will explain that human myths are not jokes or lies. They are warnings about what we become when peaceful people are pushed too far." The sphere of silver light dissolved. The copies of the Defiance merged back into one ship, but it remained visible and glowing like a star. The surviving alien vessels limped away, their crews forever changed by what they had witnessed. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council received the survivors' reports in stunned silence. More than 40 ships had been destroyed by a single human vessel. The descriptions of the battle sounded like fantasy, but the wreckage was real enough. "How is this possible?" Counselor Veltar whispered, his energy form flickering with fear. Admiral Ixalan, his crystal body now dim and cracked, gave the only answer he could. "They were telling the truth all along. Human myths are real. They're stories about impossible. Ships were not fiction. They were history that had not happened yet." The Council voted unanimously to request a peace treaty with Earth. They offered trade agreements, technology exchanges, and formal recognition of human territorial claims. They promised never again to attack human vessels without cause. The age of alien dominance was over. The age of human legends had begun. 6 months later, the USS Defiance disappeared into deep space, just as Echo had promised it would. Captain Morrison and his crew were never seen again, but their ship became the subject of stories told throughout the galaxy. Alien children who had once been taught that humans were weak and primitive now heard different bedtime stories. Stories about a ghost ship that protected the innocent and punished the cruel. Stories about a vessel that could appear anywhere, anytime someone needed help. And sometimes, in the darkest regions of space, explorers and traders reported seeing a silver light in the distance, a ship that watched over them and kept them safe. A reminder that some myths were more real than reality itself. The USS Defiance had become exactly what humanity needed it to be. A legend that would never die, protecting Earth and all who traveled among the stars, forever.